So Little Mermaid came out, and I finally decided to sit down and watch it. And now I want to talk about it. Let's get into this. What? That looks so stupid. Oh my god. It looks like some fucking Monty Python shit right there. Oh my god, let's just let's see that again. So I know I'm late to the party. I stayed away from this because of all the other dumpster fire live action movies I've been seeing from Disney, and I just didn't care for them to try and ruin another one for me. But I decided to bite the bullet, sit down, and give it a chance. So here we are, and I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. It was not terrible. It was actually kind of good. Compared to the original, obviously, the original will always be close to my heart, the favorite, the one that is going to be better, no matter what. But credit where credit's due, this new remake, reimagining of Little Mermaid is more or less a beat for beat of the original with minor changes here and there. And the changes that they make really aren't the end of the world. They don't make a huge impact to veer off what originally happened. It still gets the point across. I'll explain that a little bit later, but it's just in a less impactful way, just based on how they changed it. So like I said, it does follow the original. Like Ariel wants to be on the top world and she wants to mingle with all the humans and doesn't think that they're as dangerous as her father thinks. And she runs into Eric, she saves Eric, gets obsessed with wanting to get to know him more, and more so dives into her obsession with humans and the top world and everything like that. Out the gate, right now, I have to say, Halle Bailey as Ariel, fantastic. I loved it. She's a phenomenal singer and she plays Ariel so well. She fit the role perfectly. I can see exactly why they chose her. Jonah King as Eric also was fantastic. They spend a little more time giving his character more growth than in the original, so you have more of a connection and understanding behind him and get to know him a little bit better. But the two of them together and their chemistry and how well they work together just was phenomenal. It was just really well done. Even with Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, I had my doubts, but as soon as I saw her and how much fun it looked like she was having with the role, I was completely fine with it. I don't even think she did a bad job. There's a few moments where she tries to Melissa McCarthy the role, if that makes any sense, but for the most part, she keeps it intact and plays Ursula to a T. When it came to Sebastian and Flounder and like Scuttlebutt and all like the side creature character animals, whatever the case is, when it came to the voice actors, I had no issue. David Diggs as Sebastian, Jacob Tremblay as Flounder, and Aquafina as Scuttlebutt. I had no real issue. Scuttlebutt sat different with me, especially after hearing one of the new songs, I should say. And I don't know if that was how they're directed, whatever the case is. The voice of Scuttlebutt didn't exactly sit too well with me. When it comes to the original songs in this, again, I can't say they were bad. They're different. But I think I'll always have to lean on the original songs. They just sound so much better. And the animation just adds light to it too. There's a lot of things they couldn't do in this movie that was done in the original animation because they tried to make it more realistic and it just didn't work. Not saying that it was bad, it made less of an impact than it did in the original fucking animation. And that's just unfortunate. There's not much you can do out of that. It's just one of the hits you have to take when you're trying to take a more realistic route on a movie about mermaids and talking fish and birds and magic and octopus people. Yeah. But since we're on the topic of animation and what they can and can't get away with, the CGI in this movie is chef's kiss. That's sarcasm, by the way. Now, it's not all terrible. There's a few parts where it's fine. They can get away with it. You tell that they just had a CGI and they did the best they could. but there are some parts in this movie that I've seen better graphics on a fucking PS2. It is abysmal. The fucking visuals in some parts of this movie is it definitely looks like they ran out of money. It does not look fucking great, but it is what it is. When you have a movie that is completely dealt with underwater imaginary characters and talking animals and all this, and you just have to some way work it in. It's the hand you're dealt. So it's bound to happen. It's really hard to come out on one end of a movie that is completely CGI, not beaten and haggard. It's really hard to get away with that unless you're like Avatar and you got fucking money and you're gonna make money back. It's just not everyone's so lucky, and Little Mermaid was not so lucky in this case. So when it comes to what's different compared to the original, kind of what they've changed, I'm not gonna get into any spoilers or anything like that, but I've tried to see both sides of the coin because I see a lot of what the complaints for this movie is what's been changed. And in my complete and honest opinion, I think the changes are so small that they don't matter. But I think that there's been enough small changes that is accumulated over the movie, then that's more or less what's upsetting people. A prime example, without it really being a spoiler, would have to be Ursula's little like squid people that she has after they fail to finish a contract with her or agreement of whatever kind. They're just not in the movie anymore. They've been replaced with something else, but it's just not given the same idea of, those were people that made contracts that failed, that it's just their life. That doesn't exist anymore. There's no connect there anymore. They just aren't there. They've been replaced with some other kind of sea life bullshit. And even the contracts, like how Ursula had a contract that needed to be signed, it's not done that way anymore. They changed that. So, like I said, it's not a lot of big, impactful changes that they've done, but it's plenty of small ones that kind of collect as you watch the movie. So, again, seeing it from both sides, I can see people being upset at how many changes were done, being as minute as they were. But at the same time, from my perspective, all they did was change small things. And I'm not saying that I agree with their changes. I actually don't agree with a lot of them. I think, like I mentioned before, that the changes that they made just made what was happening in that moment less impactful. It still got the same point across, but just not as well as the original did. And in the end, if I'm going to criticize it for that, then we're really nitpicking. We're just really looking for reasons to be upset. And I can't. So I stand by what I said in the beginning. It's not a bad movie. It's not terrible by any means. I quite enjoyed myself. I think it's a pretty damn good remake. Minus obviously a few hiccups along the way, but overall, worth the watch. So if you haven't seen it and you're iffy about it, I say bite the bullet. Go for it. Go see it. Have your own opinion. If you've been staying away because of what you've been hearing, I say fuck that and figure out if you do like the movie yourself. And that's about it. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Have yourself a good morning, evening, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.